You have reached the Geek Elite. Good luck.
I can't believe you, Mitch. Case, do you want to be my co-host on this show from now on? Obviously, Mitch is not cut out for it.
I love journeys and I love mysteries.
We're going to take that journey into mystery this week as we talk about Captain America 1990. Now, as we're talking about Captain America, that can only mean one thing. We welcome back Case Aiken from the Certain POV Network.
Hey, thank you for having me back on while I'm wearing a Spider-Man shirt instead.
Unacceptable. No, but who else do we have on the list that can get in here wearing a proper shirt?
Thank you.
I'm wearing a Flash shirt, so I'm not even in the same universe.
I'm just wearing a shirt with a rabbit with a gun on it.
I've been trying to think, is that like dirty, hairy cottontail? Like, what do we...
I don't know. I was on $6tees.com, not sponsored, but I would if you'd let me. So I was looking through and I found just a whole section of just animals with weapons. And I was like, yes, this is the choice of t-shirts that I would like to buy. So I bought rabbit with a revolver. I bought squirrel with a switchblade.
Okay.
Just naturally. And then the last one, it's not a weapon, but it's just a cat with like a bandana pulled up over its face, all Bandito style.
Oh, okay.
The cat is the weapon.
Yeah, the cat is the weapon.
I mean, especially for me, I'm allergic, so it makes sense.
Right? So, again, not sponsored, but I'm looking at you, $6 tees. Balls in your court, man.
I mean,
like, hey.
$6tees.com/geek out gets you absolutely nothing. Sorry.
But if enough of you write it in, maybe they'll be like, what's up with this whole geek out thing?
Did we miss something? And then we can be like, yes, you did.
Yeah, that's right. We are going to be talking about Captain America from 1990. Ian actually went about and watched the right one this time, so we're all very proud of them.
Last time I watched the wrong one.
But first, there has to be some new comic book news, or not comic book news, but MCU news. I think we got some casting news, didn't we? Recently, this past week? I should have really looked this up before I opened my mouth.
Yeah, there was some. I know Helen Mirren was cast in.
That's right.
No, that's DC though. That's for Shazam.
Ooh, that was for Shazam. You're trying to show me up, Case. Always trying to show me up. Oh,
the only reason I knew that off the top of my head was that it was mentioned on the Real Movie Critic versus the Cine Guy, part of the Certain POV podcast network, who we recently had a crossover with.
We recently did. So if you happen to go over to the other side and watch the DCEU movies, you can listen to us talk about the Snyder Cut for 4 hours, just as long as the Snyder Cut actually is. It's on 4 different shows. It's on the Real Movie Critic versus the Cine Guy. We Have Issues, Mitch and Rich show, and Men of Steel. It was a fun time.
Yeah, that's a lot of places.
It's a lot of places. So we did have one bit of casting news that I can remember and found. It was let out of the bag that Russell Crowe has a part in Thor: Love and Thunder.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
So did you hear about how this kind of came out? Like they had planned on keeping it a secret as much as they could, but I guess they all went to a soccer game or a rugby game, and Russell Crowe has like straight up front row seats or box seats or owner's box or something at the stadium, and Chris Hemsworth like posted a picture saying, "Hey, thanks for doing this, and thanks for having us in your special private seats." And then the internet went crazy with it. Does this mean that Russell Crowe is going to be in Thor: Love and Thunder? And
God
eventually,
forbid anybody do anything nice.
Yes, right. But I guess it kind of got let out of the bag that he is. Now it's all speculation on who he's playing. I did hear one person say that it might be Zeus. So bringing in gods of myth from another religion, that's interesting.
I'd be here for it. I'm down.
Yeah, I've been saying
that's it.
I've been saying for a while that one of the Hemsworth brothers should play Hercules, because Hercules was deliberately set up as a foil to Thor, like very explicitly, like, oh, he's like Thor, except he's a jock. Like, like if Thor is the thinking man's superhero, like warrior god, this is the one who is like that, but more extreme in different ways. Like he's much more of a womanizer or an everyoneizer, and he's all into the booze in ways that Thor is all about all of that, but has self-control.
Well, we already have Luke showing up in as an Asgardian playing Thor in a roundabout like fake play in Ragnarok. So that would only leave Liam, because I don't know of a fourth Hemsworth brother. There could be one out there.
There are four.
Oh, it's Ian. I'm sorry.
I've been keeping a secret. I'm the other Hemsworth sibling. I've worked really hard to get rid of my accent. I went full method, moved out to Arizona just to keep the family secret. No, but Liam would be really good in the role. I would love that. That'd be hysterical.
If I remember correctly, and I could be wrong, but I think that Liam was the one that actually was supposed to be going up for the role of Thor, and like Chris came along, and they were like, "Hey, that guy, like, let's go ahead and let's see if he wants to be in the." I mean, he'd already been in stuff already, so I can't imagine he wouldn't also be going up for the role. But I thought I read somewhere that Liam was the one that was trying to go for the role.
Yeah, I mean, Liam, I think, would actually be fine. He was the first one I thought about, but for some reason, I think they have like one more brother who's like not as big an actor, but maybe I'm wrong.
You know who I thought Liam would be good as? I always thought that he'd be good as Hal Jordan, like especially after his. Even though it was a bad movie, but he was in that Independence Day sequel. Like him as the cocky fighter pilot just made me really think of him as Hal Jordan. Surprise, surprise. Not that he would want to be involved in a DCU movie at this point. I don't know. They're on their uptick, I think, so.
And it might not be the place to voice opinions on DC Comics at the moment, given the entire property we're talking about. But if DC wanted to take another stab at a Green Lantern movie that wasn't a train wreck, I'd be interested.
Would you be Hal?
I'm saying like I'd be interested in watching it.
Oh, okay, got you.
No, I can't pull that off.
I can't pull off not having fear. I have tons of fear. I'm afraid of many things.
I'm afraid of everything.
Well, then you just be Guy and just like be angry.
Just be mad all the time. I'm angry about it, but I get to still be a Green Lantern because I'm so mad that I'm not a Green Lantern. Damn it! Let me in.
I mean, I've always thought that both companies should try to troll each other by casting siblings or former actors of parts in their respective like doppelganger roles. Like get like one of the Hemsworth brothers to play like Wandjina, the Thor knockoff that they had from the Assemblers, the Heroes of Angor, pardon me. The Thor equivalent, except he's bald and has an axe.
That would be good.
I'd be so down.
What would you? Do you have a person for the other example, not the sibling, but the person that already played the role?
I was noting that I thought that Tom Welling would be a really good Hyperion.
Oh, that would be a good casting. Now, Supreme Powers Hyperion or Supreme Squadron's Hyperion?
If I had my druthers, it's always going to be the Squad Supreme Hyperion.
Oh, okay.
Either the classic one from the Grunwald run or the one from the more recent Hickman Avengers, which are different characters, even though they're both Hyperion and they're both Mark Milton. The one from Supreme Power I don't know, man.
Like,
sure, like that's definitely the best known story at this point, aside from the original Maxi series. And that I don't know if anyone has the balls to do the original Maxi series, but well, who knows?
The other piece of casting that we did get was Echo. Echo is going to show up. She's going to show up in Hawkeye.
Oh, yep, that makes sense. Yeah, because Echo and Clint Barton both took on the role of Ronan.
That's
at
right.
various points.
Mm-hmm. Alakwa Cox will portray Maya Lopez. So
I don't know why the name sounds so familiar, but I'm down. I'm here for it.
what do you know? Do you know anything about the character? Case? I just
Echo,
remember.
yeah, I remember her original run in Daredevil, or original appearances in Daredevil. Like, yeah, so Echo is a she's a deaf woman who used to date Matt Murdock, and her deal is that she has photographic reflexes like the Taskmaster.
Nice.
So she is able to be like an accomplished pianist because she's seen people play certain sets on the piano, and so she can just do them. And she had this like great relationship with him where he could great lips, like she can read lips perfectly. You know, all the things that would let her like get through day-to-day life and fake it really well. And so like Matt would like describe the sounds that he's hearing at a movie, and she would like describe like the scenes that are going on and stuff like that when they were like dating with each other.
Sounds like a noisy couple in the theater.
Probably, yeah.
I dare you to fight him. You won't.
Oh, I won't. I will not.
Oh, there's a blind guy in the back. I should do nothing because, like, what am I going to
do? You're not the hero in that situation.
No, there's no way to play that. Even if you're like, guys, it's really annoying. This is a public theater,
right?
But it's not an example that I just created out of thin air. I do remember that from the Brian Michael Bendis stuff. And then she
was she created by Brian Michael Bendis?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure during his Daredevil run.
Okay, because that's when I remember seeing her in the Avengers when she took on the Ronin identity and that was Brian Michael Bendis also.
Yes. So that is why that character has persisted.
Very cool. Thank you. And now, how does she become a counterpart to Superman? Since that's you. That's the thing that you do. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you. But so yeah, those are the two casting news for MCU coming out this past couple of weeks. Case, I assume that you are also up to date on the Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yes. I enjoyed the second episode a lot. The first one I was a little more lukewarm about.
You know what? Other than the flying fight scene at the beginning of the first one, I think I'm kind of the same, but I'm all in. Especially so, spoilers for episode 2 for anybody that hasn't watched it yet. But yes, when we get to the Isaiah Bradley scene, I am all for this series. I hope they venture more into that.
Yeah, that's what won me over for real on this one. But just in general, I like the second episode. I think resolved most of the issues I had with the first, which was Bucky and Sam don't talk, which was kind of a bummer. And I was like, all right, where are we going with all this? And like, I think we have a much better sense of it. And I think that that Wyatt Russell makes such a perfect John Walker.
So good.
Yeah.
So
I didn't. Like I saw all the shots of him wearing the helmet, and I didn't click that I knew that actor. Like I looked him up, and I was like, oh, like I looked up the name, and it's like, oh, it's Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell's son. Okay, cool. He has a really punchable face. And then I realized I've seen him in a bunch of stuff, and I like him in a bunch of stuff, but he always has a beard.
He always has a beard. You're absolutely right. Yeah. Like I remember, I think one of the first times I remember seeing him in was Everybody Wants Some. What's that director's name?
Richard Linklater.
Yeah, that's right, Richard Linklater. Yeah. His baseball college movie, and just thinking about how he's the one that's not actually of the right age, and he needs he has to lead the baseball team, which also has Tyler Hoechlin in it. Like that's our current one of our current Supermen. That's also interesting.
And it also had what's his face that used to be married to Supergirl.
That's right. Yeah. Jenner. Not Bruce.
Blake Jenner.
Blake Jenner. That's right.
Yeah.
So, do you, Ian? Do you know about Isaiah Bradley? Did you read Truth, Red, White, and Black?
I didn't, but I feel like I was very well educated by Casey's tweets earlier. I read all the way through those, and that's not memeing at all. They were really informative, and I kind of knew the name of the character, knew generally it was like, oh yeah, like cool, like right on, but I didn't know much about it. So like, thank you for sharing that on Twitter.
Yeah, of course. I think that you and I haven't known each other since I kind of took a hiatus from doing these like breakdowns on characters on Twitter. But yeah, like Isaiah Bradley's a really cool character who, when he first came out, had this sort of like vibe of being like, all right, we're going to tell like the actual story that was like hidden behind the scenes. And then the book itself is a little bit less of like an expose and more of like, here's like this sort of like folk tale about this character. And like the timeline's really weird because he sees stuff about Steve Rogers, Captain America, but he's also supposed to be the prototype for Steve Rogers. So like, and like, it's not just that I was confused because like, if you look up anything about it, they're like, so when does this happen in the timeline? Like what, like it was very explicitly like sort of like not really the point to be like, this is this thing that happened first. Like that sequence doesn't matter. The point is that like the government was trying to do the super soldier serum multiple times and testing it on lots of people and had like all kinds of experiments and mishaps. And so Isaiah Bradley is the character who served his country and then got swept under the rug. But he has persisted as a character in the comics because his grandson is Patriot from the Young Avengers.
Oh, okay.
Which is very much the fact that we have five known Young Avengers now.
Yes, that's a whole team.
Yeah. The only one that's missing is Teddy, the Hulkling. And we have Skrulls and Kree, so he more than likely could be out there somewhere.
Yeah, and I mean, we get She-Hulk here soon anyway, so that'll probably get taken care of in She-Hulk.
Well, more accurately, probably in Captain Marvel, because
true,
Hulkling was Captain Marvel's son.
That's right.
Oh, okay,
that's right. So
I'm on board. Here we go.
It could
just send it. Give me Young Avengers. I want to see it. I don't know who they'd fight, but like I'm excited.
We're also getting the Secret Invasion TV series on Disney Plus, so he could show up there.
Yeah.
So there's all kinds of possibilities, and Kang the King the Conqueror, or a young version of Kang the Conqueror, which makes up our Iron Lad. There's all we're getting it. It's going to show up.
And also Iron Lad. Then the armor became programmed with the not the brain patterns, pardon, the memories of Vision, and became Vision for a while. Like Teen Vision.
Yeah, Teen Vision. So we went by Jonas.
So you could just argue that maybe like Bizarro becomes like de-aged or something.
Oh wow! Like they take Paul Bettany out and put a younger version of Paul Bettany, some other British actor.
Bizarro is such a great term for that.
It's true.
I hadn't heard. I love that.
I'm stealing that from you guys.
It's true.
Did we say that? I don't remember.
Well, on Geeks Watch.
Yeah,
on Geeks Watch. Okay. I was like, I don't remember saying that. That sounds like Mitch isn't that funny.
Oh, it's true though. I'm not. I'm really not.
I'm just here to make memes and learn.
But one of the things that someone had come up to me today actually and asked me about it from this past episode. And it's something I didn't even think about, because obviously in the episode when Carly Montague, is it Montague? Mortimer?
The leader. Oh, yeah. the girl who's the leader of the Flag Smashers.
Yeah. The leader of the Flag Smashers. She gets that text message that says, "You stole my product. I'm coming to get it," right?
Yeah.
You're very much supposed to think that that's the power broker and the power broker's men coming after her. But someone was like, well, what if that was John Walker? Like, they left it intentionally blank of unknown texter. Like, what if that was he was supposed to get some super soldier pill that she stole the shipment for and took the powers for herself? And any takers?
I'm down. He's gonna be a bad guy because look at his face. He's a shitbag. Not actually, but like John Walker sucks. So I'm just waiting for the shoe to drop on that one because that guy sucks.
I mean, I could definitely see that happen. Like, there's all this talk, and like I don't know how much it's actually supported beyond the interview that like Walker gives at the start of episode 2. Wow, we're not all going to talk about the movie, but
We'll get there.
He says like I don't have super strength. I don't like, but he's like comparing himself with like gods, which are like he's like comparing to like Thor and Hulk and Iron Man. Like Captain America is not in their weight class in terms of like raw power anyway. So I don't know how much is necessarily supported by all that. He could have already, but more likely he's going to be a regular human who is trying to become a superhuman and either gets his ass whooped real bad and he goes to the power broker, or I like this idea that maybe he was always trying to get that, and this is how that plays out. Because, U.S. Agent in the comics is really tough. Like weirdly, I was familiar with U.S. Agent before I was familiar with Captain America, because for whatever reason, the place that like the little like dollar store that I would buy comics at when I was a kid, always had West Coast Avengers and never had any of the other like main Marvel books. So like I don't know why. Like it had Spider-Man, it had X-Men, it had some DC stuff, and then West Coast Avengers. So like from the time when like Living Lightning showed up and joined the team, like that's when US Agent and Spider-Woman and all those characters like joined that roster all the way through the end. I read that entire run, and like for whatever reason, I was like more used to just US Agent as like my guy with the shield up until that book ended, and I was like, oh wait, he's a prick when he like actually talks to Captain America.
Yeah, the dude sucks. Like I want that fight so bad.
It's funny that you bring it up that way, Case, because like I've always been like I like all the characters, but I always liked the alt versions of characters. So when I first saw that Invaders book in the early 2000s, when they had this guy come in and he's like, no, I'm also Captain America. And I was like, well, you're not Steve Rogers though. And then I got to learn all about US Agent and John Walker. And then, or when you got Spider-Man went through the identity crisis, when he took on the 4 different like versions of himself. It was like I've always been obsessed with like having those type of characters or those type of things. So US Agent was a character of mine too. So but yeah, you're right. He is kind of a jerk.
Yeah. Intentionally so, but
yeah, because you're not supposed to like him. You're not supposed to like him as much as you like Cap or Steve. But yeah, in the comic books, he eventually gets some type of superpower, or at least enhanced powers from the power broker.
Yeah, and more so than Cap. He is in that like back in the day of the Marvel cards where they had like the 7-point rating scale on it. Like Cap was explicitly like a like a level 3 strong, which is like peak human, maybe a little superhuman. Mm-hmm. And US Agent's like a number 4, where he's like Spider-Man. Like there was a West Coast Avengers annual where Iron Man has to fight him while US Agent is mind controlled, and can't get over when he wins because US Agent is strong enough that he can like rip apart Iron Man's armor.
Okay. I like that.
So go
ahead.
I have a little bit of a theory that I've been working on, and I don't have much to support it other than I think it would work very well, and I want to know your stance on it. What if, because we have Zemo going on and he has all those Hydra secrets and everything, with John Walker we end up getting Hydra Cap?
Oh, I mean, that's possible.
Like, because obviously Zemo, the whole threat there is like, shit, you're gonna make Bucky like freak out. Like that's the threat. So my line, like my train of thought on this is Zemo gets out, he puts on the ski mask because he has to. He finds the Flag Smasher and he's like, oh, a bunch of super soldiers, cool, y'all work for me now. And then like John Walker shows up and he's like, stop in the name of America. And Zemo's like, nah, you work for me now. And he's like, all right.
Well, it'd be a very interesting way for them to go with the Secret Empire Cap. But I was also thinking, like, what if they pull a 48 hours, so to speak, with Zemo? Like, what if they take him out of prison and he's there to help Sam and Buck to take down either the Flag Smashers or eventually John Walker. And at the end of that, this is my hope, obviously, is that Thunderbolt Ross comes out and says, we're going to give you a team to take on, and we get the Thunderbolts.
I mean, the Thunderbolts is what we've been pitching this whole time.
I mean, it's the thing we want the most, and I kind of hate that I've never thought about like having it be named after Thunderbolt Ross.
I can't believe it wasn't named after Thunderbolt Ross.
I know, right?
Because I feel like that'd be just the thing that he would do. He'd be like, I'm going to name this team after myself, and you're going to be a bunch of criminals, and it's fine.
And then somebody has to ask, what are we, some sort of Suicide Squad?
Oh, that'd be great.
Well, and because you could totally see like Ross like walking down the line being like, all of you all are the worst of the worst, real masters of evil.
Yep.
But now you work for me. You're my Thunderbolts.
Just somebody from inland just, boo. You get a team full of like, I don't want to call them ex-villains because they are, but you get like a team full of villains, and Thunderbolt Ross is like, oh, I'm some badass, and none of them respect you. None of them.
That is until he becomes Red Hulk, and they're like, oh, okay.
Oh, and then like, oh, my bad, dude. Like, don't set me on fire.
I always liked you.
You're real cool. Do you know you look great in red?
Any other theories going forward? I think there's only 4 episodes left because it's only a 6-episode show.
Oh shit!
Yeah, which already is a bad call.
And then no plans for a second season because that's not their plans for these shows. It's all one and done, I believe. Because it's all getting you to the next movie. So what movie is this one getting you to?
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm okay with like it being some other thing with like Sam and maybe also Buck, but maybe it's not just the two of them paired up, or like they each go off on their own ways. Like, I don't need it always to be the same pairing every time.
Right,
like,
right.
I think that could be an exciting prospect in the future.
I kind of like the concept of them doing these shows as like comic runs. In the means of like, you can grab any 2 heroes and smack them together and go, all right, we're going to do a run with these 2.
Right.
And you give them 6 to 10 episodes, and then you're good.
Are you just saying that all the TV shows are just Marvel team up?
Yeah.
I'm okay with this too.
Yeah. I'm totally fine with that.
They're just the like team up miniseries that you get. Like, here's 4 issues where they have to go fight Doom. You know what I mean? And they show up and he's like, stop it, Doom. And he's like, not this time. And then there's an issue where they fight, and then everybody goes on.
Yeah, I mean, I think the ultimate end point is going to be Falcon taking up the role of Captain America finally. Like, I think that's got to be what they're working towards. If not, it's Bucky. It's not like they're not going to leave John Walker as Captain America.
No.
He might be U.S. agent at the end. I don't know.
We're gonna have multiple Captains America. It's okay.
I like the second episode that we've gotten so far for just the one line that Bucky gave. That's just, if he's wrong about you, then he's wrong about me.
Yeah, it's a good.
The therapist scene was great.
Yeah, that was a good scene.
But it's just, oh, Buck. Like somebody give that man a hug and tell him it's okay, because he needs it.
Just be wary of the metal arm.
You know what? That's fine. If this is how I die, it's how I die.
Which, I understand that he also has a version of the super soldier serum in him, but like stopping himself from like hitting the ground just because he's grabbing onto branches with that metal arm, like, just does not seem the best way to jump out of a plane.
Oh no, that's what made it so perfect.
I hurt just from watching that. And
I mean, he's trying to fall off of every vehicle, land, sea, and air. We have trains, we have planes. Now he just needs to fall off a boat.
There we go. By the end of this series, do we see Eli either using powers or wearing a Patriot suit? What do you think?
I mean, we definitely could get like the little nod at the end of the credits where he goes to lift up something really heavy for his grandpa.
Yeah.
I mean, it's in his blood, so I mean it's probably genetic at this point.
Yeah, because his first appearance in the comic books, he was taking mutant growth hormone to get his powers.
Yeah, so originally his parent, I think it was his father, was the older son who was born before the experiment on Isaiah, and so like what is it?
Josiah.
Josiah, Josiah X, I think is what he's called. Did actually inherit powers, and then Eli was taking this mutant growth hormone that was being distributed by Mr. Hyde,
of all people,
and he got hurt and got a transfusion from his grandfather, and then the next like scene, all of a sudden he has super hearing and he's like lifting very heavy things. So
I'm on board.
Yep. They could just like cut that out and just be like, yep, he inherited his grandfather's powers. It's fine.
Yeah, like, we don't need to do the mutant growth hormone part, which I always thought was a funny story. Yeah, exactly. We only got 6 episodes, folks. We don't need to jump into everything.
But I think if this ends up pointing us towards Patriot and kind of setting up Young Avengers, I feel like this would be a good spot to do it since we have so many introduced, or at least not introduced, but like on the books, more or less, like ready to show up.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Like just start this. This is where it starts. We have all that going on. It's like, hey, you guys want to be you guys want to be Young Justice, but Marvel.
Yes.
I'm down.
Yeah.
Give it to me.
Yeah. And if you want to have the Vision but keep it Paul Bettany, he can play like the Red Tornado role as like the mentor robot.
Oh.
Like it works.
Yeah, that works too.
I need that now. You keep putting things in my life, Case.
It's because we have good ideas. We have fun ones. Remember when we talked about The Matrix? It was great.
It was fantastic. It was fantastic.
All right, let's actually talk about this movie. Though.
We're getting into this movie now. Captain America 1990.
We are 50 minutes in.
I mean, some of this stuff is going to get cut because of the mishaps in the technology.
Right.
But yes, Captain America 1990. This is starring... What's the actor's name? Matt
Salinger.
Salinger. Thank you, Matt Salinger.
JD Salinger's son.
Actually, JD Salinger's son.
Yes, actually, JD Salinger's son.
Wow.
Yeah, I had to look up the first name because I always just think of him as being that guy who's JD Salinger's son and was in the 1990 Captain America movie and the first Revenge of the Nerds.
Who does he play in the first Revenge of the Nerds?
He's like the lieutenant jock to
Ted.
Is it Ted? It's not Ted Danson. It's Ted from Married with Children.
Yeah, from Married with Children.
Yeah. He's not Ogre. He's not the big one. He's the other one.
Oh, yeah. I remember his face now. Okay, interesting. However, there are other names in this movie that you would recognize when you see him, as Ronnie Cox. I always think of him as he's in RoboCop, right?
Yes,
all the actors are like recognizable enough. I'd have to like stop and look.
Yeah.
So, he was looking at his IMDb here.
Yeah, he's
just
Jones.
The first 4: RoboCop, Deliverance, Beverly Hills Cop, and Total Recall.
That's right, Beverly Hills Cop. He's the captain in that. And then Ned Beatty, he's also in Deliverance, isn't he? Yeah. But more importantly, he's in Superman. One of the Superman. Which Superman movie is he in? He plays Luthor's sidekick.
It's
Superman,
1978.
1978?
Yeah, Superman 1 and 2.
1 and 2. Okay, good. There you go. We also have a female version of the doctor that gives Captain America the super soldier serum. So
I like that aspect, by the way.
Very cool. Very, very much different. They didn't go by Erskine though, did they?
No, she is Maria Vaselli.
Yeah, Dr. Maria Vaselli, because they decided to make the Red Skull Italian in this.
Yeah, I have a lot of thoughts about that one because like most of them are why, and then then proceed to like explain what I'm thinking about at any moment. Most of my notes are, man, this is almost good, and why did they choose to do that?
I will agree with the "this is almost good" note.
At a lot of spots. I mean, like in terms of like what this movie is, where it is a super low budget, like weird period of movie making in general, like 1990, like in terms of like what people thought they wanted to, like studios weren't going to throw a ton of money at this. It was kind of like, well, yeah, it's an IP that people know, but like who really cares kind of thing. Like it's just, this is the same era as like the Corman Fantastic Four. Like, it's lucky that we were getting anything on screen. Sure, 89 had Batman, but like that's Batman. Like different tier. but there are a lot of things like the actual beats of this movie are pretty close to what I want. And like there's a lot of stuff going for it that are actually pretty close. Like Captain America looks like Captain America. He doesn't look like Evel Knievel.
Yeah, this is true. He doesn't look like Evel Knievel.
For as rough as the costume is, because let's be real.
It's rough. Yeah.
It's rough. I appreciate it more. Because you tried.
Yeah.
Like you put
leaning
the
into
effort.
plenty of things.
And you pretty much went, well, what's it look like on the page? Cool, make that.
I mean, I don't know how protective the suit would be. However, he gets shot like 3 times in the chest, and it does absolutely nothing to him. He recovers pretty quickly.
Yeah, well, they say that it's like a bulletproof flame retardant suit that the doctor came up with. Also,
That's
the
right.
shield.
That's right.
She invented all of it, and just with her death, it's all gone.
But yeah, because she just kept it all in her head.
Yeah.
Which I mean that the whole keeping it in the doctor keeping it in his head, her head is a staple of the story. But yeah, also in creating the suit and also creating the shield and the line of she was very patriotic, like she was all about America because it's a red, white, and blue suit. It's you're right. There's a lot of pieces that are very much like, yeah, that's the Captain America story. The whole being on the missile that's going, towards, well, in this case it's the White House, but like having it be a missile instead of a plane, like we see in the Captain America First Avenger, and going into the ice and all that stuff. The whole being discovered in the ice part, like that. It gave me flashbacks to Encino Man.
Okay, but hold on. Would this movie have been any different or better had it been Brendan Fraser?
Back then, I could see
he's
Brendan
so
Fraser.
charming.
Yeah, he would have done a great job. The real question is, would this movie have been any better with Pauly Shore in it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You replace. Not saying she didn't do a good job, but if you replace the girl that he's running around with the whole movie with Pauly Shore, you're just like, whoa, that's some bad guys, dude. We got to watch out for those guys. Like making little weasel noises at everybody. It's no
I don't
longer...
actually hate that. Like a Pauly Shore as like a Jimmy Olsen type is like, like actually okay.
What do you got going on there, buddy? Like,
hey Cap, look, it's some Nazis.
Oh no, Cap, your hood, they're gonna know who you are. No. It's fantastic.
I can't believe I started this. I'm sorry.
Again, good ideas that we're just putting out there in the universe.
Right, 100%. Marvel.
Yeah.
Again, we're here. We're ready. So I'm going to need 2 legal pads, a conference room, and a lot of coffee. Not for me, for Mitch, because we got to keep Mitch awake.
Ian's more of a tea person.
That's right. That's right.
100%.
Did you have other parts that you thought hit it almost right?
There are actually a lot of things that I really enjoyed about this. I really liked the Red Skull rat that they introduced right off the bat. Like I thought that was like kind of a fun way to like set up like what the deal with the Red Skull is. I thought that the beats of like, well, he's in Nazi Germany and stuff. It was like a little weird when he decides he's just going to charge right in and get into a fist fight while all these other Nazis are looking at them, where it's just like, aren't you going to get shot? But you know what? In terms of like, it's the scene is right. I just wish she had more tactics. So I'm not mad about like the choice there. I thought that there were things to like about the Red Skull design, and we'll talk more about him in a second. I thought that, like, this is so much better than the 70s one. Like that's a big part of it.
There's no question there, Case. Of course, it's better.
Yeah. It's so, like it actually makes a bit more sense. I was during the scene where they like shoot him up with Vita rays. I kept thinking like, man, this looks terrible, but I don't know on that budget if you haven't really thought, like, if you just threw that at me, like have Cap get hit by Vita rays and then like have superpowers, like how would I shoot it? Because like they make it very dramatic and cool in the first Avenger. But the scene itself is almost identical. It's just like, yeah, it's a more expensive set piece and all that. But like the actual beats are dead on. Like it's a perfect they're both perfect adaptations of the original comic.
Yeah.
I don't know. The thing I just always can't get over with this movie though is that Captain America is not the main character.
Is it more the Red Skull?
No, it's more the president of the United States.
Oh, that's right. You're right. It is a lot about the president of the United States, especially since he's the kid that sees Captain America. Like, how exactly did he see him when that rocket was coming so quickly? I don't know, but he's able to get a good description of him.
Yeah, and that Cap saw him too. Yeah, that plays out later as well.
Oh, you're the kid,
right?
As you were strapped to a rocket that we were trying to kick the fin so that you can make it go off course.
Yeah, they skip a lot in this. Like they've already picked out Steve Rogers as the person they're going to do the experiment on. Was like a weird beat where it's just like, oh yeah, it's like a voiceover. It's like, or like an ADR line. And it's just like, okay, we're gonna go see his going away party just to like set up some drama there. And we're gonna skip all the like important character stuff, and then like the montage to the present day is like following the progress of this little boy as he rises in political power to be the president. And then Act 3, basically Cap loses any sort of priority, and it just becomes the president's like goal to save his country.
Yep. I didn't even think of it that way, but you're absolutely right. That's true. It is more of the president's story.
Yeah.
You know what? And Cap would be honored. Cap would be honored to play second fiddle to the president of the United States as long as it meant that America got to sleep safely.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's until Americans vote in Captain America as the next president, like they did in Ultimate comic books.
And then at that point, I would be begging Doom to just like, can you just assimilate my country? Like, y'all got it nice over there, it looks like. What's up?
I'll bet you that Latveria has socialized healthcare.
I'm sure they do. I mean, it's all magic and science mixed together, so I would think so.
And living metal.
The whole going from Bernice to Sharon thing, like I know that we kind of do the same thing in the current Captain America with Chris Evans, where in Winter Soldier he's very much like, oh, you're Peggy's niece, like maybe I will kiss you kind of thing. Like it's kind of weird, but like this whole, since it's played by the same actress and really no time has passed for Steve.
It's weirder.
It's a lot weirder.
Yeah.
The redeeming quality in the more recent one was like he was a little conflicted about it.
He also was into her first before he found out it was Peggy's niece.
Right.
And also it's a great niece in that versus in this it's like direct daughter, right?
Something like that.
Definitely.
And in the more recent one, you have Sam and Buck hanging out in the car behind, just like, this is weird.
But then the Red Skull also has a daughter. Now, did they refer to her as Sin like she is in the comic books?
I don't remember, but I'm also not convinced that this is actually the Red Skull.
Ooh.
In that, so looking at it all, where like obviously he's the Red Skull in the sense that he is a red skull faced character,
Right.
But also he kind of feels like Strucker, like with his hand getting cut off.
True.
And Strucker's kids are much more infamous. At least they traditionally were. So like there's an element where I was like, oh, is that supposed to be what they were kind of playing with right there? I don't know. None of this really matches up like perfectly well with any particular Captain America villain. You know, the whole Italian mafioso character that we get in the majority of this movie doesn't really feel like any of his main villains.
I was waiting for the accent to drop and for him to just be like, all right, fine, you got me. I've been jamming this whole time. Please give me my hand back.
Like any reason at all? Could you imagine there for being Italian instead of German? Like, was the actor just Italian?
That has to be it, because I can't think of a good reason. Like there's so many just whys to this movie. Like, why was that choice made? Why? Because like I don't mind the plastic surgery to make him look less like a skull in modern time. I think makes enough sense, and from a makeup standpoint, it's also easier. Like, that's all fine. Like, him being more like integrated into society, mostly fine. Like, it's a good position for your villain to be in. Like, he has had 50 years to like upgrade, and you've been like frozen. Good choices there. The Italian thing, no fucking clue.
The only thing that I could also imagine is just so that they could have that scene at the end, like so that the music like makes him stop doing what he was doing. Like, yeah,
but he could have been playing Mozart. Like, he could have been a German guy.
I guess that's true. I don't know. That was me stretching, I guess.
Yeah, it's fine. Like, but it is weird, and it's particularly weird because it's Red Skull. I mean, I guess Red Skull makes more sense than Strucker. If you're gonna like do something there, so maybe it was supposed to be Strucker, and then they changed it to Red Skull to make it fit better with it being an Italian actor. Like. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, I feel like there's this element of America loves to like make mythologize the Nazis, not in the like the hero worship kind of sense, but like we like to make them like ultimate evil.
Mm-hmm.
And so there is this element of it's like, well, and they were German, and they're like, I kind of feel like there have been waves of being like, well, and remember, the Italians were part of that too.
That's true.
So I like wonder if it was like that kind of like a trivia bit, but I don't know. It's strange.
I'm gonna look and see if there's an IMDb trivia about like why Italian.
I have a different side of that, which is why California.
Why California? And this is the second time that we've done this now.
It makes less sense here than it did in the Red Brown. In the Red Brown, he's back from the war and he just wants to go surf, and like, so of course, like California, like the weird beach bum vibe that we get from that Captain America makes sense, at least like like where he is to all this. But here's actually my weird thought about it when we're doing like the period piece component, where I feel like that if you're going to set it in California or have the character be California based, he should be afraid of the Japanese. And like, I think you're not going to talk about it because it's impossible to talk about the Japanese in the war without like bringing up that America was really shitty. And we have a much easier time being like, well, even though the Germans based all of their racism on our racism, like it's easier to divorce ourselves from that.
Yep.
And like they can just be the bad guys. And I guess likewise the Italians. Like, but that feels East Coast. Like Brooklyn feels like a great, like we're on the front line of that side of the war. Like California, you feel like you're worried about them coming from across the ocean that you're on.
Right.
Like as opposed to crossing your whole damn country. Like just in terms of like, well, what's the pressing sort of like point of contention there? And then going back to like beautiful suburbia California, I don't know.
But you do get Cap in his suit with a trench coat over that, like running down the beach, and then like, oh, I am running to go do something, but there's a pretty lady walking in a bikini, so let me slow down to do that. Let's not
Honestly, it was that scene where he's like back in California, like, oh man, everything's different. When I realized I was watching the wrong one when we were supposed to be watching the other one because the punks show up. Like, you got a cigarette, and I'm like, why are punks in this? This is before, like, this is before punk rock was a thing in this regard. Like, what is this? Oh, my bad.
Also, can we talk about the fact that he uses the same trick to get a car twice?
Oh yeah, that I'm going to be sick, and like, I don't actually mind his delivery. Like rewatch, because I remember that part and it being bad, and then it's like, I think I'm going to be sick. I actually thought that was a very convincing. If you're used to being a nerd your whole life, like Steve Rogers, maybe not this Steve Rogers, actually probably did get sick a couple of times at some point. But yeah, it's such a weird choice, and it happens twice. Like, it doesn't even have the third payoff.
The thing that really gets me about it too is his run back, like the run back to the car. As a person making the movie, I really feel like you don't show that. Like, it looks was awkward and is filmed bad. So just to watch it hurt me.
That made it for me every time. He's like, oh, I'm gonna be sick. I got you. Like, the only thing it was missing was him just being like, I'm gonna be sick. Nah, get fucked.
Hey, so let's talk about how, like, when Cap comes back in the first place, that, like, the only reason the story happens is because the Red Skull sends someone to murder him. Like, absolutely. There's no plot outside of that.
What is the Red Skull's plot like in the modern time? What's his goal? Yeah, that's what I thought.
Proceed to make money.
Because after you're a Nazi and you lose, you become a mafioso and you just need to make money now. Like
there was like this there was this like military arms thing, because there was that like general that was like all about like keeping the military budget going. So I think he's like an arms dealer kind of guy, and that they've been trying to manipulate stuff behind the scenes. I like that he says that he arranged for the death of Kennedy.
Right.
Like fairly offhandedly. Like that I thought was pretty good. So it is kind of like that Winter Soldier vibe of like we've infected everything, but like it's not so much like our secret Nazi cabal has taken over so much as that we're playing on everyone's greed, which felt like actually like a little more realistic. And I don't know, like this movie's like ideology is like kind of all over the place. Like
go ahead.
Well, because like the president feels like a Jimmy Carter, but doing the fusion dance with Ronald Reagan. Like I have a line right here at one point where it's like, were they trying to get Reagan to play the part? He was free. This was he's 2 years out at this point.
This is true. This is 2 years out.
Could have done it. Because there are moments like that where it's just like, Mr. President, I'm here for you. And he's like a little bit of a cowboy and he beats his way out of a Nazi prison. Saves the day.
There was one thing that like at the beginning when that soldier takes in the Nazi infiltrator into seeing the experiment happen, the part where the lady behind the counter grabs the gun, obviously, do you think that in First Avenger they're throwing back to that? They're making homage to this movie, this 1999 movie or 1990 movie, sorry.
I'm not sure if it is directly a reference to this or if they're both references to the same kind of like spycraft kind of stuff. But I really liked that diner scene in general. Like everything from him like going in and then like getting his powers like is so just the low budget 1990 version of the first Avenger. It is really like kind of shocking actually, like how close it is.
That's exactly how I was feeling. I was like watching this. I'm like, did they do that? Like, because I feel like that's what they did in Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton. I feel like there's a lot of scenes that throw back to the Bill Bixby stuff. So yeah. It's like I just made me think that since they had this property, if they decided, well, let's go ahead and make homage to the few fans that have watched the 1990 version and liked it. So,
well, they definitely do it in Winter Soldier because they talk about how did Captain America learn to steal a car
in the war.
They do. Oh
Yeah,
my.
like-
Okay, I never got that.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, he's Captain America. Of course,
No,
he does.
just like when they're fleeing from like when Cap and Black Widow first leave Shield, like after the whole elevator fight and everything, they're in a car and Black Widow goes like, "Where did Captain America learn to steal a car?" And I think he says like in the war, and we're not stealing it, we're borrowing it. Put your feet down. But like that has been commented on by the Russo brothers as being a deliberate reference to the 1990s.
Got you. All right.
Now I really wish that they would have had Steve just be like, "Hold on, I think we're gonna be sick," and then you cut to them in a car,
and then he tries to get away from Black Widow, and Black Widow shows up there first to wherever it is that he's supposed to be going.
Hold on, I think we're gonna be sick, and she's like, "No." You just did this back in Shield.
We saw you do that to someone.
That's the best. I love that Captain America of all people is just like, I can't bring you into danger. I'm gonna get sick. Hold on, pull over.
Yeah, it made more sense the first time with the reporter guy. I loved the sort of appreciation of like the Pulp Fiction-y kind of like we've got Dakota Ring kind of like 40s war propaganda stuff that is like baked into Captain America as a concept. Like they do love it. They have that appreciation. Like I'm here for that part of this movie.
Yeah, no,
yeah,
it's got that going for it. So I mean, it sounds like you had a pretty positive viewing of this case.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Like I know why everyone says this is not a good movie, and I understand that it's also colored by like I see where we go, like what a good Captain America movie looks like, and what a really bad Captain America looks like. I don't know. It's so impressive to me in that they get so many things either right or almost right that I overall enjoy it as a period piece, as like this is a thing that came out. Is it weird that like again the Red Skull finds out that Captain America is back somehow, and he's like
he just feels
he'll spoil my plans somehow, even though those plans are not connected to anything from the 40s, and so he sends his assassin daughter and Goon Squad or whatever, and they have repeated very dumb interactions. Like I have notes about the restaurant fight that they get into where they like walk by and like glance menacingly down at them and then sit down behind them. And I'm like, I feel like you guys all need to have some repartee to like indicate that you all know who everyone is. It's like, so are we doing this now? Or like something like that. But instead she just pulls out a gun, like as if she hadn't already super indicated that, hey, I'm here to kill you, by the way. I'm going to bump into your seat and then walk past you.
Like, I want to see them take this script and remake it with what we have available now, with some minor tweaks like that, like the restaurant scene having just a little bit, just somebody acknowledge the situation,
right?
Like we can recast Red Skull. We could do whatever we need to there because you know that's not going to happen. But get everybody back that should be back as far as our current castings go, right? So do with that as you're going to. But I feel like it could be like a really fun 10-minute short.
Yeah, just doing scenes from this that didn't make it in the first adventure.
Yeah. Where it's just like, because then you could get a shot of Cap looking across the restaurant, and just going, "All right, so we doing this?"
Remember, you had the opportunity to leave.
Yeah, that actually, it felt like that kind of a scene, and that it's not is like kind of annoying,
right?
I don't know. I mean, like, you know, I think all the casting choices are fine in this movie. Like, aside from the Italian Red Skull, which is jarring, but again, it's not actually intrinsically necessary that he's German. Like, it matters that he's a Nazi.
True.
And I feel like it doesn't matter quite so much. It's not like the Red Skull part is innately German unto itself. The fact that he's a super soldier works actually really well. The effect is fine. It's 90s. Was this a TV movie or was it actually a theatrical?
I think it was actually just theatrical, if I remember correctly.
Thank God. I'm so tired of TV movies.
But either way, like, it's still a low budget movie. Like, they didn't know what the fuck they were really doing. Like, the costumes don't look great. They are they're accurate to the comics, but it's in that way of like all the details are right, but the materials and the construction are all wrong.
Yes.
Salinger is fine. At least we're not like really like putting. At least we're not spending most of the movie with him being a giant fucking football player size individual who then gets the super soldier serum like 60% of the way in. So like the beats are right. It is, it's a little weird. Sharon Carter the entire time is like a little too like 90s crass. Like crass might be the wrong word, but she's like a little too vapid in some ways. Like she talks about like her hair a bunch. Like there's lots of talks about appearances of people. I don't know. Like, it was nice. I like that she spoke Italian really well, and that was how she could infiltrate stuff. Like how she proved to be useful. It would have been nicer if she was a spy.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
But they made her work fairly well. She was at least a contributing part. In fact, she contributes more than Captain America does.
She does. She does.
The only thing that Cap does in this movie is he fights Red Skull twice,
and he steals cars twice. With the same
he steals cars twice, but doesn't actually do anything with them. So it doesn't really matter. Sharon does more, and the president does more.
Yeah.
Like again, the president is ultimately the one who saves the day. It's just we take a break from him for about half of the second act.
You know what? What's the timeline of this movie? What's the time frame of this movie? Is this like a couple of days? Is it a couple of weeks? Because how effective are you going to be after just coming out of the ice? All right, ask yourself that, Case. before you go pointing fingers at didn't do much. He just came out of the ice. Respect my man.
Well, where in the ice was he? Because he was at the White House, and then he's just like nebulously in an ice thing up north somewhere. They
don't
find
really
him.
They just say,
and then he makes his way to California.
Yeah, so he had
East Coast makes way more sense than West Coast. I still don't know why you can shoot it in California. Just call it New Jersey.
They just didn't understand how to make the shore look like it was on the other side.
Don't you just switch sides?
Nope, can't do that. Sorry. So we almost got Val Kilmer in the role of Captain America in this. So it'd only be 5 years later that he becomes Batman?
Yep.
I would have loved it. Because like the saving grace for the Punisher was Dolph Lundgren.
Ooh, okay.
The saving what would have really put this movie over the top is Val Kilmer. Because then
he was playing the door. He was doing the Doors instead.
Yeah. I mean, if he had been like a pilot, for example, and it was he was basically playing Iceman, I would have been totally cool with that scenario too.
No, but you know what? I'm glad he wasn't Cap, because I don't know if I could ever forgive Cap for killing Goose.
Oh.
Like I don't know if I have the strength, because I still haven't forgiven Iceman.
That's fair. What's the other toy that we would have got from this movie that wasn't Captain America? Do you get the Sharon Cooperman doll that comes with the accessories?
You get a Red Skull with changeable face and detachable hand.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty obvious. Because I was going to say the same thing.
No, it's not. But it's not like detachable face. It's you put it in
the head
water.
Flipper.
Oh, I was gonna do the water. You put it in water and it changes color. But head flipper is good too.
Yeah.
But I like it. I want Thor from the Incredible Hulk movie to show up and hang out with this version of Cap, just because that sounds like it would be a ridiculous time, and who knows how many cars would be stolen. Better yet, I want a road trip film. That's just that Thor going all over the place and meeting other heroes and going on adventures that way.
That wouldn't be bad.
Yeah.
If that had been the TV show, that would have
this
been
movie had, just from a, I can't help it because this is another pass right here. The Red Skull plot in the 40s needed to have a thing that was going to take over 50 years to happen.
Right.
So that when you get to the 90s, Cap wakes up and it's like, what year is it? Oh shit, that bomb's going to go off any day now. Like it needed to have something that Cap knew about from back then to put pressure on the Red Skull to try to kill him, as opposed to just being like, that fucking guy.
I still hate him.
Did anybody find that bomb that Red Skull put in that hole 50 years ago? It was a really big bomb.
We don't know anything about that.
Damn, we should probably go find that.
Yeah. I mean, something. And I don't know what it is. Like, a bomb's easy, but like something. Christ.
No, yeah. It's like a slow disease or virus or something like that. That could definitely have been it too.
Yeah. What year is it? You guys know that Red Skull's been slowly poisoning your water for the past 50 years, right?
I had a thought about that. Like, could you imagine if the plot was that he had been introducing like the super soldier serum in small doses to the water supply of a city, and then he was going to do like with like some sort of celestial event, effectively trigger Vita rays, like an eclipse or something.
Wow. You'd have a whole city full of super soldiers.
Yeah.
Write that down. Again, Marvel. Hello.
What are you doing?
I'd like to introduce you to my man Case here. He's got TV show ideas. Come on. So I feel like that would work really well as like one of these like Disney Plus series.
All right, Case. So we have you coming back for the other Captain Americas, right?
Which other ones are we talking about?
Oh no, we don't have any other Captain Americas.
We don't have any more Captain Americas, Mitch. You got me excited.
I'm sorry. Well, we'll have to find something.
I mean, are we just going to do the MCU all over again?
Yeah, I think we're going to do that again. It will probably be before we get to watch Black Widow, so...
Don't do that to me. I can't.
I am happy to come back anytime. I love talking about all these kinds of movies, and even the weird ones and even the bad ones. Like, again, this one was one that was like surprisingly close to being good at so many spots. Like, you almost forget it sometimes. You're like, actually, I'm kind of enjoying myself. This is pretty good. And then it'll do something and you're like, why? Like, for example, at the end of the movie where I said, this feels like unironic propaganda. What is this music?
That's the 90s for you, baby.
Yep. But yeah, anytime you want me back, I'm happy to come on.
One of the things that I don't know why I like it, but when they use the shield in throwing, like in this movie, like it's so bad, but I just enjoy it for some reason. I don't know why.
Oh yeah, he takes out a building with it. Like the first time he uses it.
Yeah.
He chucks it at a tower, and sure, they're like it's logs or like it's wood beams, but he takes out the tower.
It's just he's that good. He's that good.
I was actually impressed. I was like, oh shit, okay, so we're setting up a thing that he can do that's like really cool. He can break buildings by throwing a thing that's really heavy.
Ian, where can people find you online?
Hi, you can find me right here on twitch.tv/IanFlux. If you're already in chat, because I see you, Clancy75, hanging out there in chat. They also said, whoa, imagine if Val Kilmer was Cap. That'd be lit. I would agree, but like, don't make me hate him for killing Goose. We already addressed that. So you can find me twitch.tv/IanFlux. You can also holler at me on Twitter. I talk to people on Twitter a lot. It's kind of fun. Holler at me at IanFlux12, and I'm also on Instagram at IanFlux. So that is IANFLUX, and on Twitter IANFLUX. Just add the numbers 1 2 at the end. All right.
In Case,
so that's enough from me.
Case, where can people find you? Yeah, Case.
Twitter, you can find me at Case Aiken, CASEAIKEN, Case like beer, Aiken like clay. You can find all the stuff I do over at certainpov.com, where I have 3 shows that I host, but we got a lot of other fun stuff. So check it all out, certainpov.com. both of y'all have been on shows of mine. So take a gander. There have been a lot of fun ones, especially our recent crossover for the Snyder Cut.
The Snyder Cut.
That damn Snyder Cut. Hey, Mitch, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter. I'm at Mitchipedia GEM. GEM stands for Geek Elite Media. The rest of Geek Elite Media is at Geek Elite Media on Twitter, at Geek Elite Media on Instagram, and Facebook.com/Geek Elite Media is our Facebook page. Check out archived episodes of this podcast and other podcasts on our network on our website, geekelitemedia.com. And if you want to be one of our patrons, like Case is, go over to patreon.com/Geek Elite Media for exclusive material that only our patrons can get. And then whatever podcatcher you listen to us on, please rate and review us. It helps spread the word of our network. But until next time, this is Journey into Mystery on the Geek Elite Media Network, saying always remember to
Geek out.
Geek out.
This concludes our broadcast.